We're trying to get you ready for Ballerina.
Like parents before a school run. Hurry it up. You've not watched John Wick 3 Parabellum yet?
During John Wick 3 Parabellum is when Ballerina is going to be sort of taking place.
Yes.
Well, let's fire in as John Wick would.
I was going to say, with accuracy.
Yeah, immediate accuracy and straight to the head multiple times for some reason. The intro, slower than I remembered.
What? So I've...
But it wasn't a bad thing.
I've written it is a slow intro because they don't dump you in the action. They do a little... They give you like a little, here's where he's going to be. And then we cut back to 2 days before or whatever. But there's no action there. He's just sat on a step.
Clearly post-action.
Exactly, post-action, which is not the ideal place to set a film. That's where they've ended, usually.
Yeah.
This film, it tries to fit in, I will say, in the first 10-15 minutes, every bit of information they possibly can so they can just sprint towards the action stuff.
Yeah.
They give you every cliche imaginable to be like the dead wife, but it's like he's filming a video of her.
Yes.
Literally like it's a parody of filming a video of a dead wife. The filter is like as blue as possible. It's raining the whole time. Like he doesn't say, like it just speed runs the man is sad, wife is dead.
Yes, yeah.
But they give you such a compelling reason to be angry.
Yes.
If they kill a dog.
Yeah, they break the golden rule of cinema. Like that's the one thing that you don't
without killing that dog.
Yeah.
This becomes a very different film.
Yes.
To get into.
Yeah.
This made you like angry enough that you were just happy for anything. You're like, kill everyone. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, go get him. Get him, John. You're shouting.
Yeah. What these films are known for is their distinct action.
Yes.
You know, Keanu Reeves trained tirelessly for these films, and you can see footage of it. It's amazing.
You can tell from his sort of facial language, just sort of been very sleepy. You know, he's clearly worn out. He's got the one expression left.
He does. Yeah. No, I thought it was a good performance.
It was his physical performance is good. I'll get into this all throughout the rest of the film. By about 3, I came around to the idea. I think he can talk very well. In this one, it's all right. He doesn't say too much.
Yeah.
And it's one little outburst where he goes like, "Yeah, I'm back."
Yeah.
But in later ones, it didn't move me.
I mean, he's a man of few words.
He's a very which was maybe a creative decision to. But his you're right. His looks, his physicality, that all works so well here. This and the action, as you say, that's where this film wins you over, and it happens reasonably early. It's the one in his house where you get introduced to the steady cam action, the quick, clean headshots.
One of the things about his combat style that I really like is we see him often repeat moves, and I really, really like that. Like, they don't need to reinvent the wheel.
No.
He does get very inventive, more so in the later films, with his kind of surroundings and like objects around him. But you see a really consistent fighting style, which I really like.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is really, that's how John Wick fights.
Yeah, and what they did through all the films, but it starts in this one, is when he's in a fight scene where he's not like particularly in control, or it's more hand to hand, or there's like he's on the back foot, it's shaky cam, it's a little bit like, it's not J.J. Abrams, don't worry.
J.J. Abrams,
but it's shaking all over the place, it's moving, you sort of get it from weird angles, and then the moment that he gets the upper hand, the moment he gets like the pistol, it's like, so smooth.
Yes.
It's just literally just like, now he's there, and goes,
yeah.
And it gives you this like, just such a visual language of like, it's all okay.
Yeah.
And it allows you to have fun with it. Like, you have the tension for a minute or two where, I mean, you know it's not going to die because you know there's 5 things to come out after this.
Yeah.
But you're there going, massive Russian man with a hammer, what's going to happen? It's going, whoa. And then suddenly kills that one. And then the music comes in, it's dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And then you can, as you did, do a lot of ha 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 every time a head gets kicked in.
I really did. Yeah, because I'm evil. You have this action scene, and then somebody comes to the door at the end, and the way in which they interact with John tells you everything that you kind of need to know about this world.
I think that is the other thing that sets this film apart from the other, like, angry man on a vengeance mission.
Yeah.
It's the little world building, because it is little in this. There's just hints that this is a world, that he's had a past, and they don't say what that past is explicitly, but they give you just enough to imagine whatever you need to imagine. They don't tell you, it's not like me and you from Budapest, right?
Yeah.
But it's all, you just know that...
You and I remember Budapest very differently. Yeah.
It's not that, but you get the same feeling of familiarity with John Wick in this world. And it doesn't alienate you by doing that as well.
No.
Because, like, it goes, John Wick, scary man. You fill in the memories of, like, whatever he's done.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not on the back foot in terms of knowing what's going on. Like, when they go, me and you in Budapest, you're like, well, I wonder what happened in Budapest.
Yeah,
you feel like you're like on the outside of a conversation trying to get in.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you feel like you're fully with John Wick almost, because you've imagined his past. So I thought this did a great job, like at making you angry and just delivering on a promise. It went dead dog, revenge, then gave it to us.
Yeah. Again, another element of the kind of subtle world building and kind of character moment that we get is early on he has a shower and you see the tattoos on his back.
Yeah.
And that gives you an impression of a sort of harder edged person than we had previously seen. And you're given enough that there is still the mystery of the bogeyman, the Baba Yaga, that is how people in the world perceive him. In the same way that we do, of like, oh, he's kind of a bit of a mystery. But then, as you say, we know enough about him. But there is so much going on, all from this one kind of event.
I thought it was great. And the thing is, this film was desperate for you to make fun of it by how seriously it took a lot of the things.
Yes.
Like the stereotypical raining. Like when he's happy, it is sunny. When he's sad, it is raining.
Yeah.
And it's like, it gives you every opportunity to point at it and like laugh.
Yeah.
So it has to deliver on the action.
Yes.
That's like, by the time the action comes around, you're like, I don't know if this is a good film.
Yeah.
And then it does.
The director is, Chad Stahelski?
Yeah.
Is a stunt performer coordinator. So it comes from that place and it really shows.
Yeah.
Like the stunts in this one are amazing and singular in that it's still remembered and then they just keep building. So this world is already set up. You have certain expectations, certain wants and needs as an audience member.
Needs.
Are they met for you? Are those needs met?
Not as much as in one for me.
All right, that's
the
interesting.
one thing I think this has a bit of, like the world stuff in this one. In the first half is, I think, great. The stuff in Rome bumps the scale of the whole film up massively.
Yeah.
The thing that this one misses, which the first one had, the first one did really well, is give you that reason for the killing, give you that reason for wanting to do stuff.
Yes.
Because the inciting incident here is that someone asks him to do a job, like do a hitman job, and he says no, and then he's forced into it. But you don't have that same consequence. You know what I mean? Like it's not this guy killed my dog.
Yes.
Or if I don't do this, then something terrible will happen, because they've set up the idea that he doesn't really have a life. And it's just like kill this bad person, and that's all you have to do. And it doesn't feel as much like you're there going, do it, John, do it. You're just like fun action without the like emotional drive for it.
Yeah. I mean, this film starts immediately with action.
Yep.
Which you wanted.
Yeah.
It kind of neatly ties the bow on the first film a little bit in an interesting way. And then a larger world is revealed.
Yes.
With some really strong additions. Some really, really interesting elements. And the globetrotting, for me, really elevates
it above the being in New York.
And that becomes a mainstay of the saga.
What I like in this one as well is it keeps the idea of him being the boogeyman. The opening gives you that same idea. It's just seeing someone who's in charge, seeing a mob boss or whatever, be like, tell you tales about him and get everyone scared. That, like, it just gets you going.
Yeah.
Introduction to things like the markers, and it tell you a bit more about the Continental, about the rules, and it gives you that insight there.
I think the more details we're given, the better it is, which isn't always the case. But in this, the more detail, the fine detail, the focused detail, the more immersive this world is. You know, they have all these traditions and rules. They're what separate us from the animals. And so you can see this world actually working. And that there are doctors and things like that operate within this world. There is a system of commerce. There is, you know, checks and balances within this world. You get to see at one point a kind of open contract. So you see a much larger world.
This is a good film.
It is.
It's a good add-on.
I mean, it feels a little bit like they kind of knew that this wasn't going to be the last one. And they knew that. And they had a larger story that they suddenly were afforded. And they were going to go in that kind of direction and thought, right, okay, we'll tell the middle of a trilogy and then see where we go from there. And this feels like that.
From 2, 3, 4 all have it's not like a very different style, but they are just that bit different. In one, he's going after the mob.
Yes.
And his henchmen. Yeah. And it's like just New York. And he's not got any gadgets and stuff. He's just him with a gun. And it's just man going through people.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones, it's a lot more of that higher concept. It's politicking among society.
It's the infighting, and it's all kind of rituals and rules and things that he's undone that he has to mend.
Like when Twilight goes to the Ventura or whatever.
Yes.
It turns it from like vampires just living a life to this sort of regal royalty.
Yeah.
Not the first time those films have been compared, I'm assuming.
Is this a watch or not?
Yeah, it's still a watch. There's not there is in my mind there's a drop in quality to the film, but it's not much worse.
Like, and as we say, there are moments in this that really elevate it, like the whole Rome sequence.
Yes.
Just the whole time he's in Rome.
Composition of shots here is much nicer. It elevates it with the music, like the diuretic, whatever it's called. Diegetic. Yeah. I know diuretic
is so good. Do you want to?
It's the tension that comes with him consuming with diuretics.
He's just drunk a load of diuretic and then like has to run and he's sweating and you're like, my God, he's going to dehydrate himself so dangerously.
It literally is, to me, it is that there is not the driving emotion force, and also John Wick doesn't really decide anything in this film. It's all prescribed to him. Like he says, no, I don't want to do this contract, and then he kind of has to do it.
Yes.
And then the final bit is decided by the fact they put out an open contract on him or whatever. So it's like he's just trying to survive, which can be fun. I preferred it when he had the agency, when he was going after people, rather than him just wandering through the world and killing people, which is sort of how it is in this one a bit more.
Yeah.
But if you remove that out of it, if you just want to watch good action, then this probably does do better action than the first one.
Yeah. John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum. Prepare for war is Parabellum. Yeah. I just missed that the first time.
Because he does just sort of say it in like a... Parabellum.
Yeah, so he's just sort of talking to himself.
Like there's quite a lot of score going on.
Yeah.
And he does just, he sort of whispers it.
Yeah. This film opens exactly where you want it to. So we're given this sort of ticking clock, literally, at the beginning. Again, another level and layer to the world that we're given. The administration of this world, how it's run through its switchboard, things like that. Yeah. Everything that we're given fully actualized.
Yeah.
They've got a whole concept that has levels of sophistication and they deliver it to it so they can do a show don't tell.
This gave me the stakes I wanted as well to set it off. I enjoyed all the action in this. I will say watching them in a binge around this one is where I got a little bit like nose blind to the action. You
get a little bit of fatigue. Again, the world building, we're shown another element. We're seeing his sort of home.
Yeah.
And with that, we learn more about him and his origins. Yeah. And that's really interesting.
Yeah, no, I think you do get a lot more like little bits here and there. Again, just to be the Debbie Downer of the two.
Yeah.
I think this was my least favourite of them. Because you're getting a lot of the plot through the world building, but you're like, you as the audience, like the last one to know what's going on. Because they all know each other and they're speaking kind of a code.
Yes.
Like he goes to his family, but we don't know who they are. And then they say, you need to do this or that, and we don't know what they're on about. Yeah. Then he finds himself in Morocco and we're going, why is he in Morocco? And like each plot point is like a layer of world building.
Yes.
And it's like the criticism of Sherlock, where it's like they don't give you any information to know what's going on. Yeah. So you just see the outcome.
Yes.
And it's that same sort
of... You could
like,
have never possibly solved the mystery because conclusion to it is something that happened off screen.
Yeah, so when you're like, when in the opening where you go, he's only got an hour, he's running through New York, what's going to happen? How's he going to get out of this?
Yeah.
No one was going, oh, well, of course he's got family from Belarus and he's going to go there and they're going to send him to... Like, you had no way of getting to this point.
So... The High Table are really starting to play their hand, starting to be revealed a little bit more. I like that we haven't seen them yet.
Yes.
And we're seeing emissaries and messengers and representatives more and more. But I think it makes sense that like they're not coming out like immediately because events like this have probably happened within this world. They deal in death. So everything probably does go a bit crazy every now and then. There are hostile takeovers and power plays. There are lots of power vacuums, often created by John Wick because he's killed everyone.
Well, that was the amount of hitmen he's killed. He's bumping up his price by just decimating the industry.
Yeah. That's going to be the fifth one. They call him in and go like, John, we need you to do this job. And he goes, get someone else to do it. They go, there isn't anyone. You killed them all.
The one thing, as we pointed out, though, is how are there this many assassins?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
how
it's
are
literally every single person is an assassin. They're like going through Times Square or whatever, and then like every third person, as you say, everyone who's in a hot tub is just like is an assassin.
Yes.
They imply a lot of this, that every homeless person is an assassin as well.
Yes, yeah. Every service worker is an assassin.
And I'm like, how are there this many people to kill?
Every busker is an assassin. Yeah.
Because most of the people they seem to need to kill are just each other.
Yes.
Like, they feel like they've created I feel it's job creation.
Yeah, it's a self-sustaining world as well.
They just kill each other, which means that you have to kill them. Where's the job in the first place? Like, I would have appreciated, I think, in the whole of John Wick, all of them to have had a normal contract. I mean, there's never like a kill this high-ranking business official so that this company can merge with them.
Yeah, no, but which is what would be the reality.
Yeah, he kills like 1,000 assassins. in New York. There were just a bit too many of them because I liked the idea of almost like the paranoia of going around. Like, you sit down to eat your dinner and you're like, I don't know who's... You see a waiter and you're like, oh, are they going to...
You see a shot following the waiter with a knife by their side, the steak knife by their side, and you're like, oh my God, he's going to stab him.
Yeah.
And then he goes, here you are, Mr. Wick, your cutlery.
Exactly. All this, like, I would have liked that. A bit like Final Destination, which we just saw, where you're watching the film, looking at all the dangerous things.
And there are those misdirects.
Like, I would have enjoyed that when he's on the run. This one, for me also, it lacked the anger at the villain. Like, the previous one, you were at least a little bit angry at that Italian man. It was nowhere near the same as dog killing, to me. But in this one, you've just kind of got the adjudicator person.
I think by that point, they're hoping that you've fully fallen in love with the world.
Yeah.
To then see oh my God, they're trying to close down Avengers Tower.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh no, don't do it.
This one maybe introduced the suits, or maybe the last one introduced the suits. I'm just going to say it. I don't like them.
In this one, I can slightly weather them. But in the next one, that's where my note comes in.
They're all walking around just sort of going, and they do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks silly.
Yeah.
And it reduces a lot of the tension because it makes him bulletproof.
This film, is it for you a watch or not?
It is a watch depending on your opinion of two.
So there are two kind of stopping points, really.
Yeah.
It's either after one and you go, I'm done.
Yeah.
Or after two and you go, oh, actually, I don't like where it's going now. John Wick, Chapter 4.
Yep.
Oh, there's no subtitle. I've said for this one, you're given an expected opening and then an unexpected opening.
What it does is it gives you a villain to hate. That's what I wanted. Since the first one, it gives you a villain that you, like, from scene one, you're angry with. That gives you a driving force.
Yeah, and Winston is exactly where you think he'd be. John Wick is exactly where you think he'd be. But then their world is starting to be torn down around them. The globe-trotting back in a big way here, which allow for different kinds of action, which is fun. And as we've said, one of the things that has held this back is some of the things that they've added in. They've done brilliant world building, but then sometimes they've just added in one thing too much that it's like, it's the suits, really. It's the suits and the tactical gear.
Yeah.
That make it like, oh man, I kind of wish that you hadn't done that. But then they go, okay, limitation is a great driver for creativity.
Yeah.
How do we get around this? Bow and arrow. That's going to go straight through the armor because it.
That bit with the old weaponry.
Yeah.
Yes, nunchucks, katanas. That stuff was good. That got me back in and excited.
Yeah.
Loved that. John Wick he's harder to root for initially because he's very clearly doing stuff that causes the death of people that he knows. Everyone goes, oh, don't go there. They're all going to die. He goes there and they go, we're all going to die, by the way.
Yeah.
And then they do all die. He seems like he doesn't care about anyone. I wasn't like with him in the same way as I was in one. I was just sort of watching him go through and kill everyone. But I was sort of waiting for him to get something else.
Yeah.
Like for him to get a bit more motivation. Someone to sit him down.
Yeah.
And give him a motivation.
Well, but also this is the first time that he's been able to take a breath.
Yeah.
There's maybe a month that passes sort of at the beginning of this film.
Yeah.
Whereas the first three are over the course of like a month.
Yeah.
I have said about the suits, but then what you get in this one, when they're in Paris, a bunch of fools, not in tactical gear show up. So we get back to that fun again.
Yes, there's a few things. There's Donnie Yen being blind. That adds to the action because they've got to event around that.
Yep.
As a little Ring doorbell sort of situation.
Yeah, which is really fun.
That stuff's all good fun. And there's a great bit where they have the over-the-top bird's eye view action.
It's incredible. It's so good.
So yeah, they add about 4 or 5 different bits to this, which just elevate that action up a notch, which they didn't do in the last one. The last one, all they did was just went more bullets.
Yes.
In this one, they changed it.
Yeah, they changed it around, and then they give him an insane gun as well, which is really fun. You also get more about the High Table and how they operate, and their traditionalism.
Yeah.
and their rituals and stuff, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think it went far enough in this one for me to come back round to enjoying it. Because this is a long film, and they extended those action scenes so far that it's nearly 3 hours long, and like an hour and a half of it is action.
But they do serve to further the plot. They're going from point A to point B because X. It's not just him aimlessly running around New York trying not to be killed.
Yeah.
It's him aimed running around.
Yeah, I loved that aspect to it. This is the same as the other ones. This is a watch if you've enjoyed it thus far. Like, you may as well finish it at this point.
Yeah.
Watch one. If that was like, oh, good action, but I'm not sure, end it.
Yeah.
If you liked it, do 2. If you like the world, just do it all.
Yeah. Yeah. The first foray into a from the world of John Wick that we get, the Continental.
Yeah.
Period setting. It's about the origins of Winston and his rise to power at the Continental, the consecrated ground that we see in the John Wick world. I thought that the action was going to be different. I thought it was going to be a bit more of a cloak and dagger, spy thrillery type, machinations, kind of killing the right guy at the right time.
Yeah.
Straight into the traditional John Wick action.
Yeah, it did. It opened with that. I don't think it kept it up throughout until the very, very end. Like, most of this series does not have that, like, super high action.
So it sort of opened with it to be like, don't worry, this is John Wick,
guys. Yeah. They put a lovely brown filter on it.
The period setting gives this such a cool vibe. The soundtrack is great. The costuming is great.
Yeah. It's worth saying this is only 3 episodes of 90 minutes ago. So it's like, it is just a mini-series. And also, it's definitely angling for another one. Yeah. Oh, yes. It's definitely set up for a season 2. Yeah. And that is one thing I'll say that goes against it in this sort of marathon piece, is it's not a completed idea, and it doesn't give you that whole story. And the idea is that this
whereas the first 4 films very much are a completed idea.
This could go on for ages if it was a big hit.
A TV show really allows for a much greater scope of storytelling.
It didn't hold my attention as well as I think it would have done if it was a bit shorter.
It is setting up all the pieces that you need for then a really fun, exciting finale. Because we suddenly get a load of weirdos, which is great. We get a bunch of these assassins, but 70s skinned. Yeah. Like, it's this guy, but in bell bottoms and a beret. Yeah. And it's like, that's brilliant. I love it. Would you ever suggest to someone to start here? Because obviously this is a prequel.
I don't think this is necessary. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing I'll say. Like, I think this will be its own little...
This is most definitely the most optional one.
And I don't think it adds that much to actually the characters in the John Wick one, because you inferred a lot of this background from just the way that they were in the film.
Yeah. I think they could do a lot more with a second season if they ever got it. I'm not mad that this exists.
No, not at all. This was good fun.
With a prequel or a spin-off is often your like thing of like, does it like, oh man, that's kind of a bummer that exists. Yeah. Like, that's really kind of ruined this part of it. Didn't ruin anything.
Not at all.
Added a little bit more for me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. This was all addition. But none of it's necessary.
But is it a watch or not? Would you recommend this?
I give it a lot of caveats.
You'd give it caveats. In terms of getting ready for Ballerina, John Wick Chapter 2, and John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. And then you'll be ready to go to the cinema and watch Ballerina. I'm feeling ready, and I hope that you are too now. Well, thank you for watching. But the best way to see what we're doing on the channel, we've got lots more coming out. We always give you a weekly rundown with the latest reviews of what we've seen, news of what's going on, and previews of what's coming up. The way to see all of that is to like this video so that you get recommended the next, but then also to subscribe to the channel, because that just makes us so happy. Well, thank you for watching, but until the next time, goodbye.